Let's do it.
A second here.
Yep. Get us on YouTube.
Okay, we're good.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the July 14th, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners for Whatcom County Fire Protection District number 4. I will call this meeting to order and we'll do roll call. My name's Steve Cooley. I'm a commissioner.
Tim Johnson, Commissioner.
Mark Lamb, Commissioner.
Jason Vanderveen, Fire Chief.
All right. Next item on the agenda is our public comment period. Chief, do we have anybody waiting for public comment?
No, sir.
We do not. So I will open and then close the public comment period. And we will move on to the approval of our consent agenda. All matters within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member of the Board of Commissioners for review, are considered routine, and will be enacted by one motion of the board with no separate discussion. If a separate discussion is desired, that item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda by request. And this month, our consent agenda includes the meeting minutes from our June 16th regular meeting, staff reports as usual from the chief, financial reports, voucher, payroll, and benefit reports, which includes our direct deposit payroll of this month, which was $644, and our monthly expenditure voucher, which was $853,981.60. And that was the majority of that was our payment to North Whatcom for their services and a small charge from our attorney I saw. Probably our phone call or something he did for us. So total expenditures, July, $854,625.60. Total revenues for June were $29,358.62. That is what is on the consent agenda item. I will make a motion that we approve that agenda.
Second.
Second from Mark. Any discussion on any of those items? Seeing none, then I will ask all those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
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 3-0, the consent agenda is approved. All right, moving to unfinished business. We have updates in most of these categories, I think. We'll start with there's 3 items listed with slashes in between, and I kind of slashed this topic into 3 areas myself. The annexation issue, and all of that. So we're tracking whether or not Bellingham's going to annex the part of our district. We're tracking the effort by all of us to draft a new agreement. And then sort of as a sub-issue, what are we talking about when we talk about 60% and when we consider consolidation? The chief's report has a good explanation of what's going on there. Chief, do you want to just summarize what you have in your report?
Sure. So my report, it basically goes back and summarizes the calculation based on what we talked about at that first meeting.
Okay.
And kind of where we're at. And again, reminder that the result of the meeting that Commissioner Cooley and I had with the city was that we need to craft a new agreement, that this old agreement is 35 years old almost, and just it's not applicable. 35 years old when you count the amount of time it took to negotiate to it. So it just doesn't fit the way that our world looks today. Failure on both parties to not keep it up to date or look at it from time to time as it was going through. So
that effort, right, is going slowly, just because vacations with the city and all of us.
Yes.
Okay.
So when we left that meeting with the city of Bellingham, the agreement was that we are going to craft a new agreement. City of Bellingham is looking at legal language, and since they have attorneys on staff, we're gonna, until it gets to a point where we want to start redlining some things, we're gonna leverage their attorneys as opposed to ask ours to craft a whole new agreement. It's just more financially a better choice. Yes, sir.
So you're probably going to get to this, but so in doing all of that, they made some calculations, and you put them in your report here of assessed values and all of that stuff.
Correct. And so
Go ahead.
going through that based on the wording and the language today, that and if we're looking for a victory, the fact that we've got a calculation from them is actually a victory because there was no calculations done in that agreement. So we've got in it, we have a calculation done. It shows that essentially they've annexed 9% of the ratio of annexations to base AV. So moving forward, we're going to do this in three. We need to do at least two different chunks. We need to look at this as two separate issues. One is the crafting of a new agreement that's taking place, albeit slowly. It's summer, it's vacation season. Getting back to the annexation at hand, it is going before City Council on July 21st. There'll be a public hearing at the evening meeting. It's at the 7 p.m. meeting. I will be there. At that time, like I said, there'll be a public hearing. So I do expect members of the public or interested parties from the what do you call them, developers to speak at that, because this annexation is not it's not a done deal. From what I understand, there are concerns from councilors, the city councilors of the city of Bellingham. But the result of that public hearing is going to be one of three things. Either they're going to approve the annexation and set a date in the future to move forward with it. They're going to deny the annexation, or they're going to ask for more information. And my guess is they're going to ask for more information from the city staff. So we will then, after that meeting, if they choose to move forward with the annexation, or I'm going to guess, even if they request more information, we will begin the kind of the impact negotiation phase of this, where we will sit down and negotiate what is the impact of the fire district of this annexation. They're required to do that by the 97 agreement, and they in no way have they shied away from that responsibility. They brought it up first during the discussion we had, so they know we have to do that. So that's what's happened in the next 2 weeks.
So just to again clarify this, there are different ways that you and I talked about with our attorney about how to approach this issue of the 60% and how to calculate assessed value, and do you use the assessed values in 94, or all of that. The city has obviously decided that they think it should be calculated in this one way, correct?
Correct. It's to them, it's most legally defensible.
Okay, and thank you. That's so. As part of the ongoing discussions, I'm going to assume we're going to be looking at that, the way they calculated it, and if we agree with that, and
correct,
all that, right? Okay.
Because if we don't, it becomes legal precedence, and
right.
So there has to be discussion about. Okay. We're going to have a discussion about how that is calculated.
Okay, but they've essentially come out in sort of the first round of these development talks as, hey, here's what we think the picture looks like.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So we'll talk more about that. We'll probably might be time to loop the attorney again eventually, but again, yep. I know it's summer.
I'm trying to bundle things for the attorney so that we're not sending him multiple, 2-3 requests every week about something, and then he's wasting his time. And so I'd like to get it packaged till we have one. Okay, here's the direction they're actually moving. Mm-hmm. How do we, do we accept this? What do we want to do? So, government, nothing moves fast.
Right. Well, thank you for the summary. Gentlemen, other questions or comments about that issue?
I've got a couple, Steve.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
In terms of our attorney's analysis, is that what you sent us after the last meeting, Chief?
Yes.
The spreadsheet with all the numbers?
Yep.
Okay. I can't say I totally understand everything that was in that spreadsheet. I probably need someone to walk me through that, and then I don't need that right now. But I guess my takeaway was it's virtually impossible to get to the 60% trigger. Is that kind of where our attorney is right now on this
Yes.
too?
Yes.
Yeah, which is, that's,
Okay.
The way,
Okay.
yeah, and I go back to that. It's the 97 agreement was poorly written for 2020, for the realities of 2025. Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. My other question is, at this hearing on the 21st, are you anticipating that you'll be asked to speak on behalf of the district?
I don't believe so, but I will check in with Chief Hewitt. I don't know that I would, I don't know if you have to be a property owner or if I could be I'm not sure. I'll have to check and see how that works. If so, is there, I guess I would ask that you um, individually send me what your thoughts are about me testifying or speaking at that, and we would need to come up with a statement prior to. I don't want to go off the cuff.
And just for info,
Sure.
I plan to be there as well. So, yeah, that's a good thought, Tim, because there might, during that, it's a public comment period, you said, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
Yeah,
yeah, it's a public hearing, so really, I think anybody can speak.
right.
Um,
So maybe we'll have to think about that, whether that would be a good opportunity to stand up and just kind of give, like you said, just a quick kind of position, on where we're at with the annexation. So
we do have to be
Yeah.
yeah,
we do have to be careful because we are signatories to that 97 agreement, so we can't oppose it.
yeah, certainly,
Right.
certainly not.
It's a trap.
Yeah, we can. I mean, well, I'm just sitting here thinking like we could bring up concerns, but we can't say don't do.
Right.
We're asking you not to do
Yeah.
this.
Well, and
Yeah,
again,
and that's kind of where I was going with that state with the question was I know since we're signatories on it and it specifically says we cannot oppose the agreement or an annexation. So I guess we do have to be fairly careful about how we frame things if we were to give any sort of public comment.
And they do have the city has to negotiate the impacts with us. So we do have there is basically a forced meeting where we sit down and discuss those impacts, and it could lead all the way to arbitration. If we don't agree, there's an arbitration clause in there. I mean, you guys can take this all the way to the mat if you want to. So there,
and I would
Mr.
say,
Four has some teeth.
yeah, I would say at this point, at least from my point of view, we don't, we're not for or against the annexation itself. I mean, we just want to be sure that our constituents are taken care of in our tax process. So
Right.
that's my 2 cents. So yeah, what we would say at the council meeting certainly wouldn't be either way. It would simply just be, hey, while you're considering this, please be sure to consider that there's this issue going on with the fire district, and we need to put that to bed too, as part of all this. So yeah, you guys, what
Good
do
point.
you agree that at least we're not for or against the annexation itself?
Yeah, it sounds like the real conversations are gonna, how do we interpret? I don't know. It's the impacts, and at the end of the day, like you just said, Steve, it's just all about making sure that our customers are getting a fair exchange on what they pay.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Precisely.
Agreed.
Okay, well, maybe Chief, I'm going to be at the meeting, like I said, so maybe we can talk offline about what we might say if the opportunity presents itself. So that sound reasonable?
Yes.
Tim, was there anything else?
No. Well, yes. I guess we did initially see some calculations of that impact from Chief Hewitt, correct? That was like the 200,000 per year for 3 years.
Correct.
is that a number that may potentially change then, I guess, with recrafting the agreement?
No, well, in the future, maybe, not for this annexation, no. This annexation will fall under the current.
Okay,
But yeah, that's a great point, Tim, that yes, I would expect that's part of what we put on the table and we got to resolve again to make our constituents whole one way or another
right.
for what they're spending. So yeah, at least my attitude is that for the future agreement that we're crafting, that number is up for grabs for sure. So not up for grabs. That's a poor analysis. I mean, it's
It's open to negotiation
Thank
in
you.
the future.
Thank you. That's exactly what I mean. Okay. Anything else on this issue of the annexation and all of that? Okay, then we will move on to the next item, which Chief, I'll let you kind of go with the next two: tender purchase, fire engine purchase.
Just table them for another month if we could, please.
Yeah,
I have.
absolutely. And the tender
made
purchase,
progress.
is the tender purchase we can take off our unfinished business?
Yeah, what, if you're okay with it, we can take that off the table for right now.
I would be in favor of that just because the discount window we were talking about early on is closed for now, right? And
Right.
so if it becomes available again, we can talk about it. So
Good.
yeah. And the fire engine purchase we're tabling. Okay.
Yep.
Any issues with that, gentlemen? Okay. All right. And then the last issue on our unfinished business is our station exterior project for Station 12. As you probably saw in the chief's report, after our contractor finally got all of his subs rescheduled, work is supposed to start on the 16th, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So we have our permit from the county and we're good.
Permit from the county was issued late June, early July. So now he's got the subs rescheduled. He and I met this morning and we went over his benchmarks for getting the work done. And we're going to meet on site early next week and go over where things will be placed. So where parking will be for the contractors, where will the dumpster be placed, where will our porta-john be placed, those kind of things, and designated parking, and kind of go over the workflow plan on site. So yeah, work is scheduled to begin on the 16th.
Cool.
Right.
I would ask that we, keep in mind, I know it's still probably on your mind, Chief, the public relations aspect of this.
Yes. Yep. We'll get a social media post out so that the neighborhood groups can share it. So in the contract it states that no work can begin before 7 a.m. And no work can continue after 6 p.m. So we're cognizant of the fact that it's a neighborhood, and if we get complaints, we'll adjust that. Bob is amenable. We'll adjust if 7 a.m. is too early, and we'll adjust it back an hour. But we'll put out a social media blast and let people know and adjust as needed.
Is there an estimate on how long this will take?
Late September, early October.
Okay. All right. Good.
So we're going to it'll be siding and painting first, and then the roof work and stuff like that, so that we can kind of hit our good dry window.
Yeah, for sure. Good time of year to do it. So.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, any questions or comments about that? Okay, seeing none, then that concludes our unfinished business. I don't know of any new business, so unless anybody has some, we will move to correspondence. And did I see any? No, there wasn't anything in the packet. Any significant correspondence that you know of, Chief?
No.
Okay, I figured. All right. Okay, and that brings us to our next board meeting is August 18th, which, yes, I will be able to make that. So
Looks good.
Yep, looks good.
okay, great. And then please let us know about any agenda items for our next meeting. And remember to go down the hill and sign the documents. Anything else for the good of the order? All right. Well, thank you.
If y'all would just text me once you've signed, I would really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
You bet.
All right. I will declare this meeting adjourned. Everyone have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Everybody.
Good day.